without a wife, without children, a family. What motivates you, Ratan?
I don't know what motivates me, but let me just stay with that for a minute. There are many times I feel lonely at not having a wife or a family, and sometimes I long for it.
Imagine being one of the richest men on the planet, a business genius who could buy anything, with just a snap of your fingers. But what if I told you that despite all his billions, Ratan Tata could never buy the one thing he wanted most? Love. Yes, you heard that right. Behind the billions, behind the boardroom brilliance, is a love story so tragic, it might just change the way you see him forever. Ratan Tata, the man who built an empire, never got married. But why? Was it by choice? Or was it something darker, something sadder? The truth might shock you, because it wasn't just about business or money, it was about a heart that broke not once, but over and over again. So, what happened to Ratan Tata's love life? Why did the man who could conquer industries fail to conquer his own heart? The answer might just leave you speechless. Get ready to uncover the untold, heartbreaking truth behind why Ratan Tata never married. And trust me, it's not what you think. It was in LA that I fell in love and almost got married. I thought that the person I wanted to marry would come to India with me. Ratan Tata, born on December 28, 1937, seemed like he had it all. He was the great-grandson of Jamshedji Tata, the man who founded the iconic Tata Group, a family name that spelled success. But life wasn't always easy for young Ratan. At just 10 years old, his parents split up, and he was raised by his grandmother, Navagbai Tata, a woman who would become his rock. She shaped his life, giving him the values and strength that would later define his leadership. What Ratan didn't know then was that his love for his grandmother would affect his life in more ways than one. Fast forward to his college days in the US, where he was busy building not just his education, but a love story that would take him by surprise. Ratan fell head over heels for one of his classmates. This American girl was everything Tata had ever wanted in a lover and life partner. She was kind, sweet, and incredibly beautiful. She taught him the ways of love and life in America. Tata knew then and there that he had given away his heart forever, and if he is unable to marry his first love, he might never be able to fall for anyone. They clicked in every way, and marriage seemed like the obvious next step. Ratan wanted to start a family with her and introduce her to his parents. It was a fairy tale, and Ratan knew she was the only one for him. But just when things were looking perfect, fate threw a curveball. Ratan got word from India that his grandmother, the woman who raised him, was seriously ill. Without a second thought, he returned to India to take care of her. Even then, it was a brief goodbye, as Ratan thought there was all the time in the world to return and make things right.
Yeah, I almost went back 3 times in my life.
At that time, Ratan did not know that going to India would mean losing his love forever. If he knew back then, would he have gone still? The Indo-China War broke out soon after, making it impossible for him to return to the US for years. Back in the day, communication wasn't as simple as picking up a phone or sending a text. For Ratan Tata and his first love, the lack of technology meant their connection slowly faded over time. Days turned into months, and months into years. When Ratan finally tried to rekindle the romance, he was blindsided by a devastating news. She had already married someone else. He went back to the US with the hope that his first love would still be waiting for him all these years, just as he had done. But things don't always turn out the way we hope. The girl's parents had disapproved of her relationship with Ratan. After all, who would want their daughter to move from safety to a war-torn country? But because of the 1962 Indo-China War, her parents weren't okay with her making the move anymore, and the relationship fell apart. Ratan couldn't blame her or her parents for what seemed like a reasonable decision on their part, but it did break his heart all the same. Just like that, his love story came crashing down. The war didn't just separate nations, it separated Ratan and the woman he loved. The distance, both emotional and physical, became too much, and their love story slowly slipped away. Ratan Tata, the man who could conquer industries, couldn't conquer fate in matters of the heart. Despite the heartbreak, Ratan didn't give up on love. In fact, he gave destiny another chance, and then some more. 4 times, the business tycoon came close to marriage, but each time, something would go wrong, and love would slip through his fingers. One time, Ratan even got engaged to another woman. Wedding invitations were about to be printed, the celebrations were on the horizon, but suddenly, the engagement was called off. After that, Ratan Tata, the man who could build an empire, decided to put love on the back burner. He never spoke about marriage again. His journey with love, filled with twists and turns, came to a bittersweet end, leaving behind stories of all that could have been.
There were very many things. I came very close to getting married a few times, and it didn't work out.
While the world admires his business genius, only few know about the emotional battles he quietly faced. Even now, Ratan Tata looks back fondly on the moments he shared with his first love. but he's remained single ever since. While his former flame moved on, chasing her dreams and building a life of her own, Ratan faced his own battles, alone. He eventually emerged as one of the most successful businessmen in the world. But there's a quiet, lonely chapter hidden behind that success. Ratan rarely talked about his love story, showing how painful that chapter of his life was till the very end of his life. But in a rare interview, Ratan finally opened up, revealing the time when he almost found the one, only for fate to step in and take it away. Since then, people have been captivated by the idea that behind Tata's empire lies a story of unfulfilled love. Tata's resilience, despite the heartbreaks, is a lesson for all of us. Ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going, because a straight line, even in an ECG, means we are not alive. Be persistent and resilient in the face of challenges, for they are the building blocks of success. Ratan did not let his personal heartbreaks harden his heart. In fact, he was all the more gentler after he realized how precious and important loved ones are. His unfulfilled love turned him into a philanthropist who vowed to make life easier for others. Born so rich that his wealth was invisible, except in his generosity to noble causes. He was often described by those who knew him as a modest, reserved, and even shy individual. He was always calm and had a sense of fierce discipline, obvious from his habit of preparing a handwritten to-do list every single day. Even though his heart had been broken many a times, Tata himself admitted to being a bit of an optimist, always looking for the positive side of things. In addition to his humility, Tata was a reflective businessman. After a strike in 1989 brought operations at one of his factories in Pune to a halt, Tata took a moment of introspection. When speaking to journalists, he admitted, "Perhaps we took our workers for granted. We assumed we were doing all we could for them, when in reality, we probably weren't." Ratan Tata was known for more than just his sharp business mind. His mix of humility and self-awareness set him apart as a thoughtful leader. When Tata passed away on October 9, 2024, at the age of 86, he left no wife or children to grieve his loss. But here's the thing, he didn't need a traditional family to have people mourning him. His real legacy wasn't just his business empire, but the kindness and generosity he showed to millions across India. Tata never became a father, but in many ways, he was a protector and caretaker of India's most vulnerable. His philanthropy touched lives in ways that money alone couldn't. Whether it was uplifting the poor, funding education, or ensuring healthcare for those in need, Tata made sure no one was left helpless or unheard. And when news of his death broke, it wasn't just headlines about a businessman passing away, it was a collective sense of loss across the nation. This was a man who used his power for good, someone who saw beyond profits and prioritized people. In the end, while he may not have had a family in the traditional sense, Ratan Tata left behind a legacy that had millions mourning, grateful for the positive impact he had on their lives. His life story is proof that true success isn't just measured in wealth, but in how much good you do for others. Ratan may have never found a happy ending to his heartbreaking love story, but he proved that sometimes having fallen in love is enough to change a man completely. Ratan's incomplete love story made him a better man, and now that we know his personal woes, he seems to be a better and kinder man than he ever did before. And there you have it, the untold, heartbreaking love story of Ratan Tata, a man whose life has been shaped by success, wisdom, and deep, unfulfilled love. His story reminds us that even the most powerful among us can't control fate or force a happy ending in matters of the heart. If this story moved you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more captivating stories of the real lives behind legendary figures. And tell us in the comments, do you think Ratan Tata's story would have turned out differently if he'd made different choices? Thanks for joining us on this journey into Ratan Tata's private world. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most remarkable lives have the most unexpected stories hidden within.